was part of Talent, and I believe possibly you were part of Talent. Am I correct?
That I was.
All right. Now, the public face on this, folks, the public face has a logo, and the public face is that it was run by the American Institute for Research, and it was led by John C. Flanagan, who was a psychology professor at the University of Pittsburgh. The public face says that it was initiated in 1957, and they began to actually implement it according to the public face in 1960. And what they did is they decided they would do in-depth surveys, national survey of the abilities, aptitudes, inclinations, quality of life, and backgrounds of over 400,000 U.S. high school students. And this, according to the public information here, began in 1960. The not-so-public part of this is who was in the background working, as they say, in cooperation. There was the U.S. Office of Education. Now, that was the precursor for the now Department of Education. There was the Office of Naval Research. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
And then there was the National Science Foundation. Also very interesting. So when I saw that what we had was a couple of, the U.S. Office of Education, okay, that's not so, that doesn't make you wheeze too much. But then when you look at the Office of Naval Research is in there, and you wonder why. Well, here is what happened. This is according to John Flanagan. After World War II, during World War II, and then just after, there was a need for very rapid mechanization, the ability to go from basically not all that industrial to totally industrial, and because of the war, and then in order to support the economy. And so, this, according to Flanagan, they needed to develop some aptitude tests that, and here's the quote, transformed bakers and brokers into pilots, bombardiers, and navigators. Have you ever heard of that before?
No, I haven't. I missed that article.
All right, now listen to this. And look, this is it's a long article. There's a lot of stuff here. But then I started looking for, okay, what came out of this study? What came out of this Project Talent that's out there for public consumption? Well, here are some of the scientific papers that were based on Project Talent data. This one is called, this is by Shaycroft, Marion Shaycroft, University of Pittsburgh, Project Talent Office, 1963. It's called the Identification, Development, and Utilization of Human Talents. Studies of the complete age group, age 15. So how can they utilize? That's the deal. First, we identify what the talents are, then how can we utilize those talents? Which is exactly what all three of you guys have described as being part of Project Talent. How about this one? Now, this one was presented at the meetings of the American Psychological Association, September 1964. It's written by J.T. Daly, and it's called Implications of Project Talent for the Armed Forces. Does this sound to you folks like we're just on a talent search here? We're just trying to identify the kids that are going to do well in college. Well, a bunch of these papers are. There's like 3 or 4 pages here, and it's just a list of all these papers that have been written. Like this one, Who Gets Ahead? The Determinants of Economic Success in America. I mean, there are some that are fairly innocuous. How about this one? Building a Scientific Community, The Need for Replication. That's by B. Schneider.
Down me.
Do what?
That sends cold chills up and down my spine, because I was 6, and that was in 1947 when my training started. Duncan was 6, and that would have been about 1957.
Mm-hmm.
No, yes. Probably 1955, 1956, and he was gone for like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because of my particular talents, I was only gone in the summertime.
Well, listen to this one. If that one sent chills down your spine, listen to this one. And this is simply written, all it says is it was written for intelligence. Interesting. Doesn't tell us who it was written for intelligence. It's written by C. Reeve, R. Meyer, and S. Bonaccio. Here's the title. Intelligence-Personality Associations Reconsidered. Intelligence and Personality Associations Reconsidered. The importance of distinguishing between the general and narrow dimensions of intelligence. Doesn't that sound, I could be wrong, but doesn't it sound a lot like what we're talking about here is splitting personalities?
Exactly right.
Now, for those who are listening, or for those who may be watching on our TV channel, you might be saying, well, where in the world did you come up with such nonsense as that, Smith? How about Wikipedia? Wikipedia. Now, there's much more information and more deep and detailed information available on the Internet about this project. However, I wanted to use the one that I thought almost everyone would probably go read. If they were looking for information on Project Talent, what would most people read? They would probably read the Wikipedia article. And just in that article, we've got tidbits of information that tip us off that this really was all about splitting personalities. It was about identifying who had certain talents, figuring out ways to utilize those, utilize them for the military, and how to split intelligence and personality. Interesting. All right, so now, Dave, I've been going on and on, but I wanted people to get a flavor of what it is that we're talking about here when we talk about Project Talent and the Super Soldier program. In your appearance on the Jesse Ventura show, it was made very clear that you and the Super Soldiers were involved in assassinations.
Study.
And is that correct? Is that what the Super Soldiers do?
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
Let's start with me.
Mm-hmm.
How did they split me in my personalities? Well, my mother is Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
My father's Sicilian. My older brother went in the Marine Corps at age 17 in 1942. And he was assigned to the OSS, and he flew with the Flying Tigers and a few other things. And he had a good friend named, escapes me at this point in time, but he was 6'4", and he was a Romanian gypsy.
Mm-hmm.
And he wore earrings. And when they were in the Marine Corps in boot camp, this master sergeant said, "You got to take those earrings out." And my brother's friend said, "There's no one in this world